truly. This is yours truly, Brian Cochran. Hey, welcome to Brian Cochran. It's the Brian Cochran Show. It's a new show that we're just getting started, and I'm excited to be here. I don't know what time we're going to do yet. It's going to kind of bounce around for a minute because we're still waiting on. Uh, we're trying to find guests when they're available. So because it's internet, you may catch it live or you may catch it on repeat or on demand. So either way, I want to be able to share with you some great things and some insights of what we're going to be talking about. I'm a minister of the gospel, so we talk about ministry and better ministry. And I'm a business person, and been a business person since 1975, so most of my life. So, success, because I've been in business for a long time, so we're talking about success. Um, I consider myself a motivator, so we're talking about some motivators, interviewing folks in politics and folks in different aspects of nonprofits and for profits and so forth. And that's what we'll be doing. So we're excited about this opportunity. Our guest today is going to be Kelvin Moore. He's running a little late today, so I'm going to just chat a little bit and kind of set the mood for our new show. One of the things that I've been one of the things I want to talk about just for a moment before he comes on the air is as if you're in business or in ministry that no, but let's do it for ministry first. That if you are overseeing any type of ministry, if it's a church or any auxiliary in the church, that if you don't have policies and procedures in place, and you're not really and realize that if you have a person volunteering on your staff in anywhere, that make sure you put together some procedures and go through training and insights to help them to understand the flow of the church, to understand the flow of your business, understand your flow, because people don't know all the time. And everyone's going through, especially after the last 2 years, everyone's going through. So people bring their challenges to work. People bring their challenges. It's not like some of us where we're um, able to turn off that switch. Some of us that depending if we're as a minister, I'll say it this way: if you walk in the spirit, the things of the spirit; if you walk in the flesh, the things of the flesh. And so uh, we have to realize that when you come to work or you come to church, that people are going to be sometimes short. They're going to be sometimes going through and they want to do right. And it's like Paul said that when I would do right, I do wrong. If you're walking in the flesh, the things of the flesh; walking in the spirit, the things of the flesh, spirit. So if you're coming into a place of business or coming into some type of ministry, just be mindful if you're an overseer that I had a situation where a person was going through having some challenges at home, having some challenges at work. Um, just a nice guy, and that's a great guy, and believes in the vision of the nonprofit. And what happened was he ended up saying some stuff to the leader and snapped at the leader, and the leader, I'm doing some consulting for them, and so I was telling the leader, hey, by the way, this person's going through, so be a little bit more lenient and long suffering and patient, so that way this person can get through. And if you help them through and you minister to them, you got to become their big brother or their big sister to help them through situations and know that they have that even though they're going through, yes, you have a job to do, but I understand and I want to be there for you even in that situation. You said something wrong, and I'm going to, we need to talk about that so that way we can figure out how to get to the root of the problem, because your problem may be affecting the business, your problem may be affecting the ministry, your problem may be affecting the nonprofit. And so as a leader, you're better off just like when your kids. Sometimes your kids come in. If like I have three kids and grandkids, and sometimes they come in, and when they come in, they are very sometimes they're upset, they're hurting, they're hurting, and because they're hurting, they'll say something wrong, they'll say something short, and maybe might even cuss, and then we have to check them, of course, but then we have to find out what the problem is. And once we find out what the problem is and help them through the situation, you get a better worker and you get a better outcome in the long run, because just don't fire them and say, hey, they're not, they're hard to work with or they can't get along. You hired them for a reason, and that reason was for them to be able to provide a service either in the business or the ministry. And so just be mindful of that. I just wanted to say that up front because it's one of those where I see that a lot where the church forgets. I'm going to say primarily for the church because the business has different motivations. So let me say it this way: when ministry, you're doing it, unto the Lord because that's who you're doing it for, not for the pastor. You may be in line with the vision, but because the Lord sent you there to do a work, so they're not looking at it because of the paycheck. But if you're on a business or a job, you are subject to the reason you're doing it is because you are getting a paycheck, and so you'll have to be more mindful of it. And so sometimes it's like, again, I'm a minister, so the church is the hospital of the sick, and because of the hospital of the sick, they may be short from time to time. So let me call and see. That's my tip for today. Let me check and see what's up with our. Um, uh, he says he can't get in, so let me resend him the link. So hold on a second. Invite, copy. Let's go to. I'm so sorry. I don't want to miss out on this because what he's talking about. The election's coming up, and we want to make sure. Where'd he go? Let me search for him. There he is. One second, y'all. Let me send it again. Yeah. Technology is your best friend and also your worst friend at the same time. So I do apologize that he's not on yet. He'll be hopefully he'll get send the right link and he'll come in. He said he couldn't get in, so I resent the links for him to be able to get in. So hopefully he can. He can. Let me try this. Let me see this 1 second, y'all. Let's see. Yeah, I'm able to get in, so hopefully he can too. Anyway, the gentleman that's going to be our interviewee today, our first interview of this new show, his name is Kelvin Moore. You saw it in the thumbnail. He is a phenomenal man of God, a husband, minister of the gospel. He is unanimously appointed to the West Valley Water District in early 2022 to represent Division 3. He went to work doing what they do. We're going to talk about the Water District and what it does for our cities because every city or every area has a water district. That's how the water comes into our area. That's how they get the contracts from the water coming in from the reservoirs and the aqueducts that come into our cities and allocated from each county and state and so forth. And so he's a part of a very important board that I wanted to, when he told me that what he was doing, I wanted to bring him on so that way people can hear what he has to say and how we need to be more proactive because if, we're in Southern California and Southern California is a desert. And so we have to have 98% of our water piped in. And so we've been on a 10-year drought. And with this 10-year drought, um, hold on a second. I think that's him. Hold on 1 second. Sorry, that wasn't her. Excuse me, that wasn't him. Um, we need clean water. We need advocacy to make sure we get our fair share of water in our area. And he's been, he works at Kaiser Permanente and he's been a leader for a long time. He's been working with the men's department at his local church, over the men's department, and other things he's been doing. So he's really proactive in helping our community and bringing the great resources that we have here. And so him being on the water board is a great honor first and foremost, and two. him as an African American man, it's a you know it's not a it's a hard position. I remember I had a friend of mine who he wanted to run for the water board here in Pomona, and at the time he moved out of Pomona, so he wasn't even I don't know if you have to live in the city or the county. I'm not sure how it works. That's something that he could probably share with us, but. He ended up not running, and then he was the one that introduced me to the water board, to the water district, and so I was able to go over to the one that's over in Montclair, right by the 10 freeway, right off the 10 freeway between Monte Vista and Central, I believe it is. And I was able to do a tour. That's when I learned about clean air, clean technology, and modernizing, because they even worked with modernizing the housing, and so that way there's money available. So there's money available to uh, do clean, stop using electricity. So that's some great programs that they were doing for that. Um, uh, no. Um, hold on one second. I'm gonna put you on pause just for a second, y'all. Excuse me a second. Here we go. All right, everybody. So we have a slight challenge today, technical challenge. Nothing's perfect but God. So, Kelvin, are you here?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you. So thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you for being a part of our broadcast to share what you do and what you know. And so tell us a little about yourself.
Man, I'm just a regular old guy, born in the 60s, raised in Pomona, California, since the age of 6. I was in Compton before then, but I've always worked in the hospital field, in the restaurant business. I've been in the hospital field since 82 in some capacity, and married, wonderful wife, loves the Lord like I do, and associate pastor at my church. Um, Also civically engaged. I'm on the transportation commission for my city of Rialto, and have a daughter who's just 24 years old that's going to college at GCU, and blessed man. Currently, I'm running for the water district for West Valley Water District Division 3,
And tell us
and that's
about
what
the.
I'm doing.
I kind of talked briefly. I kind of went off your cheat sheet about about what you're doing, and I've known you a long time, and our audience, some of our audience know who you are, or will know who you are. Can you tell us about what the water district does, and why you want to run for that seat?
Yes, the water district is so much deeper than what we think. You pass by it all the time. You pass by the water companies all the time, and you don't think about the inner workings of them other than offices and different positions of people that are in there. But the tentacles of water and the people that work there when you turn that faucet on, nothing would come out without them. From the people that are in the field digging and making the pipelines safer and widening the pipelines and the infrastructure to make sure that we have good clean water, to the people who are making the decisions of bringing people in and opening up businesses to make sure they pay their fair share and that they don't do any damage to our water. So the tentacles go far across the world because we are in a drought. And so it's going to take all of us to pull through this drought. And it starts with us educating ourselves, educating our family at the table, educating the kindergartners at school that water is a precious resource. I look at water as we can't live without it, kind of like Jesus. You can't live without him. Can't live a decent life without him. So it's easy for me to do the correlation of water and Jesus. So the vital need of sustenance, you cannot replace water. There is no replacement for water. And that's by God's delicate balance. And so, of course, the balance is off now. We have global warming and everything else. And so Lake Powell's at its lowest. Lake Mead's at its lowest. The rivers at LA rivers are all dry all the time. If we get 1, 2 inches, we're happy, you know. And so my job is to bring what I know about water and the education of water and give it to the people that I serve, and my constituents, my family, my friends. You'll have a conversation with me. You'll never look at water the same. You'll feel grateful. You'll praise God when that water comes to that faucet.
And we, as you said earlier, we take it for granted because we just turn it on. We pay our water bill and we turn it on. We don't realize what it takes to come into
Absolutely.
our. You know, I was fortunate and blessed because I lived in El Centro, so where the Colorado River changed into the All American Canal and comes back from Mexico back into California. I had an opportunity to be a part of that as well. So I was looking at one of the. So it says you to make the agency more for the communities in the Inland Empire. Why you say that? Make the
Um,
agency work
I like
more. There we go. Sorry.
I like to see the community get more involved in those things. To see transparency at that level. What's coming in? What jobs are available to the public? I don't know about you. I probably do know a little about you because you graduated not much longer before I did. But RLT and all those different organizations never came with us talking about going to work in water.
Right.
And yet, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry.
Yes, it is.
But nobody looks like us are working there.
Ooh, say that again, please. Say that
It's,
again.
it's less than 3%, my brother.
Yes, sir.
And so, one thing I like to do, and I'm working in partnership with, is getting people um, involved and enlightened about water resources and the jobs that are available because everyone's aging out. And it's our time to get the high schoolers, the college people who are going to college who can't find jobs, get the water education. About an 18-month program. You can start off at a decent salary and sustain yourself and grow in that company. So it's open to women as well. So it's a great time for us to really have diversity, and true inclusion.
Awesome sauce. So you're also put on your platform on what you're running on is more clean and safe water. What does that look like?
Actually, we just got approval and the money to expand our Romer plant, which puts out roughly 14 million gallons a day. And with that expansion, it would be 21 million gallons a day, which are like 18,000 more households that would be able to get water, clean, fresh water. And also making sure that we stay on top of the infrastructure because what happens when they build new housing and things like that, we don't think about the current housing that's been there for 30 years. They need infrastructure rebuild as well. And you're feeding off that same well, that same water source. You've got to have justice in our water. You can't have injustice or gentrification or any of that going on in water. And so I would expose those things and correct those things to make sure everybody's getting fair, equitable treatment and getting fair and good, reliable water. Tastes good, good for you at a decent rate.
Ooh, that sounds yeah, that sounds it's funny because we again as we said earlier I've been watching videos from what you mentioned earlier about Lake Mead and Lake Powell and it just seeing how low it is and how Las Vegas was very proactive in making sure how they recycle their water and their runoff and going right back into Lake Mead so that way they were to Lake Mead so that way
Yes.
they'd have water, available to them if it ever got to the point where, because there's a certain percentage that comes to California, a certain percentage that goes to Nevada and Arizona, and I think is there another state, or is that the three? Oh, never mind. It doesn't matter. So anyway, so coming into California, we have a certain percentage, and I can't remember what the percentage is. And so each city, so West Valley Water District is what you're running for, which is number three. Is that a county position or a city position? First off,
It's actually it's a district position. So
okay,
it's yeah.
and that means so you are who are you accountable to?
Uh, I'm accountable to the northern part of Rialto,
Okay, okay.
from the Las Colinas, north part of Las Colinas, all the way down through the 210 freeway.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And so you said there are jobs available. Or is
Yeah.
there training? So let me ask this question before you get into that, or inclusive of that. So is there training programs available to train people in that, or is it something they got to have
Yes.
experience?
Yes. I'm glad you asked that. It's a partnership with a few other agencies, but we're one of them, and it's called IE Work. And what it does is what we just did. They just graduated this summer. I think it was 7 people. One happens to be a grandmother who's going to re-enter work, and she's got a job in water. And you get to work on an apprenticeship for about a year, and then you get hired on. So you get, you get a good, thorough education on water. You're marketable, and we all know what you learn. They can't take from you. No one can take that from you. It's a skill you have, and it's a wide open industry because, like I said, there's a huge exodus going on with retirement. So it's a great time if you have people in your life that aren't doing anything with their lives, or just want to do something better. Have them just look at water. Look at water. Just give it a shot.
Wow. Okay. Awesome. And so, how do they find? So November 8th is our election day,
Yes.
and tell them why they should vote for you.
So I'm transparent. What you see is what you get. I'm for the people. I've been a resident of Rialto for 21 years. I'm civically engaged. I love my community. I love where I live. And I like the fact that I can enhance where we are and educate people where we are and bring the water companies knowledge outside to the community where we can be versed in water. Because that gives us a leverage. We know, we have knowledge, right? We can do some things and hold people accountable.
That's awesome. Well, I think you have any last words you want to say to our listeners today, because not viewers, because I mean they kind of halfway watching, but to our listeners today.
No, but other than thank you for this time. Rob, we go way back,
Yes, we do.
and you know me, you know my family.
Yep.
We don't take nothing half-heartedly. We go all in, and we believe in what we do, and we pour ourselves into whatever we're doing. But one thing that we have is integrity, and we have a love for God. And so we, I just want them to know that. And if you need to know anything about water, if I can help in any kind of way, let me know.
So, do you want to give out a number, or is there a
I have
website?
a
Or
website.
go ahead,
I have
give
a
it to me, and I
website.
can put it up. Go ahead.
My website is votekelvinmoore.com.
Oh, learn how to. Oh, come on. There we go. I'm trying to type too fast. R.com. There we go. Vote Calvin. Yep, spelled it right. Yay. All right. This is Calvin's contact information. He's an awesome brother in the Lord. We work together. He's helped us with many of our projects, and he's very, very community minded. He's a brother that loves God, loves God's people, and we do need to have more African Americans as representatives in every aspect of government. And that's one of the things that he could be a Joseph in the marketplace, because we need that. Because again, he's going to be governed not by lies, but the truth, because he's governed by the truth. So thank you so much, my brother. God bless you. And
God bless you.
we'll try to. So we'll I'll post. This will be posted. And we'll send it out some more so other folks can see it, and hopefully we can get you some votes.
All right. What I can do is I'll send you my website later by mail. You can just post it if you want to.
Okay, that'll work.
All right.
That works too. Bless you now. Thank you.
All right, God bless you.
You too.
Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you. Bye bye now.
All right.
All right. That was wonderful. Oops. Let me do this and do this. There we go. So that was our first show. We're going to keep it short and sweet, and we kind of thank you so much for tuning in today. Kelvin Moore is a great guy. As I said before, I've known him a long time, and part of what we're going to be doing in our show is to, this broadcast is to introduce you to people that you may or may not know that are making a difference in their local community, that hopefully you too become civic minded and do something to change our communities for the better. And so praise God for y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you very, very soon.